Hi, everyone, and welcome to the final edition of the Loth Trilogy for the Palma Yacht Crew vlog. How are you, Loth?
I'm good. Yourself?
Good, thank you. This is the second time we've had a go at this because we've had some issues yesterday when we tried to do a recording. Mind you, they weren't internet yesterday; they were more human related.
Yes, definitely. It's more of more of the government issue with the SIM cards, but yeah, we are good now. Good to go.
Good. Yeah. So, I mean, there might be some internet issues, but that is what it is. You're in Tanzania, and I mean, it is what it is.
Yes, definitely. But I mean, we should be good. It's the experience as well. It has to do with the.
Okay, well, actually, we've done the just a basic interview, and then we talked about you as a Maasai tribe member in Tanzania. And today we wanted to speak to you about being a yachty.
Mhm.
So let's start with the journey of getting into yachting. Where did you take your training?
I did my training in South Africa, in Cape Town.
And what were the costs and how many courses did you take?
I took a couple of courses. I think when you're starting, you probably want to, like, you try to do a lot of courses that I think they're not necessary. Later, you come realize they're not necessary, and they're pretty expensive. It costs you just the courses themselves goes up to almost 3,000 sometimes. So it's very expensive, 3,000 US. And then you have your accommodation, you have other, your food and all other spendings, and your flight as well. So it's pretty expensive.
And so once you got your training,
Mhm.
you decided that you were going to go to Fort Lauderdale. Now, why was that?
So I think it was mostly influenced with two things. The first one with season. So I did my courses around August, and then as you know, the season is now by the time it's moving towards Florida, US. So then I decided because it's time, there's no point of going to Europe if it's going to be low season in Europe. So it was better to fly to the States and then and try secure a job before the boat show or during the boat show or do some day work before that. And the other one was I know a couple of friends. I know a lot of friends in the States, not necessarily not in Florida, but in different states. So just to be a bit more safe, if things don't really go that well, there's always somewhere you can try run into before, maybe for staying there in case you don't secure a job in time when your funds maybe run out. So I think it's something I wanted to consider that than go to Europe where I didn't know anyone and also it was low season.
Well, one thing that in our past interviews I found kind of funny was that you didn't know how to swim.
Yes, I didn't.
I mean, for those that haven't watched the other interviews, Loth was born and raised in the foothills in Tanzania of a mountainous region in the center of Africa, really.
Yeah, definitely. I am from a landlocked area. Not my
Yeah,
country
yeah.
is not landlocked, but my area is landlocked. So there's no like a water source or where you can only try maybe jump into the water during the rain season, which is also scary. So
So well, here you are, you rock up in Fort Lauderdale with your tickets and you're ready to go to work, but you
mhm.
actually don't know how to swim. I mean, mind you, from what I understand, it is a little bit more common in the industry than most people would think. Was that a fear of yours once you sort of would get a job that you would definitely need to know how to swim?
Yeah, it was something that you will probably have to think twice. You'll be like, should I tell the mate or the captain that I actually don't know to swim, or should you be quiet and then when you secure while you're looking for a job, you continue learning how to swim so you don't lose your job because the risk is the possibility are one, the captain wouldn't want to take a risk of having a crew who doesn't know how to swim, and take them on board, especially when you have a trip coming up. But at the same time, you want to take your chances, so you want to be honest in the first place. And the people who as like you said, sometimes not every crew knows how to swim. So I was always honest with with the people, with the captains or the mate or friends. I always tell them, look, I need a job, and as much as I work very hard, but I'm not very comfortable with swimming. I don't know how to swim. So luckily, the vessel that I was working with, it was doing a long refit, so they were okay with that as long as I was continuing with my swimming classes and make sure that I'm up and ready before the trip to be able to swim.
So now are you able to swim, like really well, or are you still sort of iffy on the whole swimming thing?
I think I'm somewhere in between. I think I'm good. I'm okay, and I'm not. It's very hard. The first time my friends used to joke that I just drop in the water like a stone. Sometimes my legs were very hard to to get used to the water, but I think I'm comfortable now. I'm not like everyone, just the same as everyone who grew up and swims like like fish. No, but I'm pretty comfortable now with swimming. I'm good with that.
Well, that's a good thing in case you ever decide to get back into yachting again. So how difficult
Yeah.
was it for you to find your first job once you got into Fort Lauderdale?
It is difficult. I think the easiest thing to get in Florida is day work. That is, I'm not saying it's easy for everyone, but I think as soon as you get your foot on and up and running, and people see your work ethic, that you work very hard and you socialize with people, then you really up and running. I think for me, I don't think I had a week without day work. When I was there, the time that I didn't have, permanent job, I've always had, day work. I think that one time I had a really long time with day work. Maybe I had 1 day of day work or two. So I kind of had a couple of day works during the days. So in Florida, you can really pick up day work, but mostly socializing with people and knowing people and working hard is the easiest way of you to get a day work. But with permanent one, it took me a couple of months, I think up to 3 months, when I was looking before I actually was able to secure a permanent job.
And we've sort of covered this briefly before. How difficult was it for you specifically because you are a person of color?
It is difficult. I I personally think it's difficult to get a job as a person, especially when you're a black person, and it's something that, like I mentioned in my previous interview, that most people will be honest with you, so they always put you on alert that if you day work, make sure you save money. You might not be able to secure a permanent job on time, but for day work, I think everyone gets the same level of day work. And I can maybe say that maybe the people of color maybe secure more day work than the other people, because if you find the captain knows that this person works very hard, but they don't want to hire you because, like I said, maybe the owners don't like the people of color. So they will definitely give you enough day work. You work to survive and make sure that you get some experience, just not hire you permanently. But it was hard. I could have, I know maybe 3 up to 4 people who couldn't secure a job on time, and they had to go back from different countries, Kenya, South Africa, Jamaica, and a couple of other places where people had to go back because they couldn't secure a job, or you could easily see another person taking your job. That's something I know a couple of friends told me.
Sorry, we've lost the internet there a little bit. We're back. Sorry, a couple of friends told you.
Yeah, let's say there's an opening. I think in the yachting industry, if someone is day working on your vessel and an opening happens that actually suits the person, I think that person should be the first one to be considered. And I have had a situation where a friend they worked on a vessel and a position happened to be exactly the same, and he or she had a better qualification than the other person, but end up not being hired. A different person was hired. So I think it's something that people go through, and we keep going for it, and until something right for you comes out.
Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate, and I've had this conversation before with other people as well. I mean, even when it comes to marketing for the yacht schools, and you would think that they would be after any market whatsoever, because as I've had this conversation in regards to the fact that green is color blind, green is money, and everybody wants it, and it doesn't matter where it's coming from. But the yachting schools and the yacht market as a whole, when you open those glossy magazines or you look on the internet, you don't see anybody of any other ethnicity aside from white being portrayed. Does that bother you?
Me personally, no.
Yeah.
It doesn't bother me, because I think in one way or another, I know we talk a lot about equality, about the color, but it's at the end of the day, it's also a preference. What is target and what do you want to do as it's your own. At the end of the day, it's your business. But don't show that you're actually racist, or you're actually trying to base on somebody. Great. I know there's plenty of white people who work very hard, maybe even more than the people of color sometimes, and that's the reality. So if everything checks and the white people exceed the black people, the people of color or in work, yeah, you take them. If they're the one who fits your vessel, yes. Or if, like you say in the magazine, if maybe a vessel has only white people, then they probably have to put them in the magazine because it's their crew. But it doesn't really bother me. But I think it's a responsibility of associations, for crew and for the industry, to make sure there's a balance of all the races to be covered in the industry.
So, would you encourage people within your tribe and people within Tanzania to actively go out into the yachting industry? Because, I mean, you've obviously managed to overcome any and all obstacles to get into it and do well for yourself, and you really enjoyed it. So, would you encourage others in your area to go and do the same?
If they can secure a visa, definitely yes. I'll be more than happy to root for them to get a job in yachting. 100%.
Nice. So tell me about your first crossing, your first trip that you actually took. What was that like?
I think it was one of the scary things. It's because first, remember, you come from a landlocked area and you haven't been on sea on a vessel before. Well, maybe once you did like a crossing. Maybe if you go to Dar es Salaam and you get on a pontoon and cross to the other side of the island, but you wouldn't really consider that because there is no. You can easily see the land on the other side, and you're safe. But then now you're getting on a vessel going to Bahamas a whole day, and there's no land on the way. So it's something I was very scared the first time, but at the same time excited. It gives you some sense of accomplishment when you finally actually getting out of the marina and heading out to the trip in Bahamas. So it was a good feeling for me.
And what was the best experience that you've ever had in yachting? What stands out? And you were in yachting for 3.5 years, correct?
Yes, definitely.
So
I
out of it
think
all, the best.
I think working on Motor Yacht Octopus, it was the best experience I've had, because we really connected. The whole crew, everyone understood each other, from the mate, chief stewardess, the captain, engineer. So we all kind of worked together and understood each other, and it was also the part where I got to grow up in the industry. I got to see that I'm actually growing up in the industry. I got to learn things. This week maybe I'm outside working with the mate, or I said on deck, and then a week later or a couple of days I'm with the engineer. Even though I'm cleaning bilges, which is not the fun thing to do, but then also he'll call you and tell you this is how you do that. just if you were interested with engineering part. But also I was able to learn how to drive a tender on the vessel. So we will wake up. The mate will wake up with me in the morning around 6 before we have breakfast, and we go for a half hour or an hour drive around the vessel. So it was a great experience there, and I loved that.
Then what was your worst experience in yachting?
I worked on on a vessel, and I didn't enjoy working with the captain and the stewardess, who was his wife. It was one of the difficult jobs I have ever had. I'm fine with that. I can really work with different people, and I don't choose it. But that was the hardest. I think, and I stayed longer. I stayed I stayed a couple of months. I stayed up to 3 months, just hoping for a change, and it wasn't, because they were not open for for ideas or for you to say anything. It was always what you have to do, which is okay. As a captain, it's the captain, like we said, the captain is the man on the vessel, and it's always a yes sir thing. But I think that's also changing. It's also changing with a person, with you advising with what else you have to do. By the end of the day, I didn't like, because I wasn't free anymore. It was like you're in a cage. It's like you must do that, and then when you try say something, he will start bringing up, I worked on cruise ships where you don't have a fancy room like you do now. If it was a cruise ship, you'll sleep maybe even in the engine room as you're starting. And I'm like, it doesn't. So it's yachting now. It's everything you're giving me, or if I'm sleeping on board, it's not because I'm working for free for you. I'm earning it.
Yeah.
So it's always something that you should always. I didn't like that job, honestly. It almost made me quit yachting, because my self-confidence. I'm very confident when I'm doing my thing. If I don't know something, I'll ask, but I'm always confident on myself when I'm doing. But that ripped off my confidence on everything, because I knew how to detail a vessel, but I reached the point where I'm not sure anymore if I was doing the right thing. So it was a difficult moment for me.
I can imagine. It doesn't sound like something I would enjoy either. So the craziest moment, I mean, the one moment that stands out where you were having the most fun that you've ever had, something that you never would have done in your village back home in Tanzania, something that it wouldn't even enter the realm of imagination. What would be the craziest thing that you ever did as a yachty?
On board or off board?
Anywhere, the one thing that pops into your head.
So I think the craziest thing I did was just before Christmas Eve, and I was supposed to fly early in the morning to Chicago for Christmas, and we did a lot of work, and we said, you know what, let's go play some FIFA, like the PlayStation games, and then getting drunk. If you lose, you drink. So what happened is we started playing games, and you lose, you drink. So we did that, and then we pretty kind of got drunk to some extent, and then so what happened is I was supposed to go send some money home for Christmas through Western Union. So we went, and I can say I was a bit drunk. So what I did is, after I sent money, I left the captain and the mate inside the place we were sending. So I told them we have to leave, and I went to the wrong car. I was like standing by. I was standing by the wrong car. And I was telling them, bring the key. They were like, no, this is not the right car. And I was like, no, this is the right car. It was hilarious, because we ended up continue going out the whole night, and then I had a flight at 5, and everyone's like, no, this guy won't make to the flight. And for some reason, I was able to wake up at 4 to get on the flight and go to Chicago. So by the time they wake up in the morning, they're calling me like, hey, where are you? When you take to the airport, I'm like, hey guys, I'm in Chicago. It was something, I wouldn't have imagined would happen, but it was really some of the crazy thing we were able to. There's plenty of things you do as a yachty, and Like I said, we became friends with the whole crew. So during work, we had a good working, and then after that, we would go out or play games together, or just go to the beach together as a family. So we did plenty of things together as friends.
Could you have ever imagined as a child growing up that this is the kind of life that you would have led, that this is something that you would have gotten into?
No, never. I couldn't have. I think when you grow up, especially in these areas, that you grew up only thinking of few things. Every kid will tell you, I want to be a pilot. In most cases, in this area, because they think as the highest profession you can earn. So for me, I grew up wanting to be a pilot. Honestly, I have always wanted to be a pilot, and you see the courses you do to become a pilot, and also yachting or as an engineer, they're the same. So they're kind of related in one way or another. So I never imagined there's something called yachting or I would work on a vessel, because in reality, the Maasai tribe are known for being scared of water. We are very scared of water bodies. So everyone will be like, "What kind of Maasai is working in the water? What if you go and die? What if you drown?" So I would, I would have never imagined that.
So is it a cultural thing, or is there a reason? Is it just because most of the Maasai tribe has never actually been around, open water? Why are they so afraid of water?
So in my you know, it's sad to say, but we lose a couple of people every year during rain season because they don't know how to swim. So because of that, people drowning and passing away because of that, and that leads up to people to be scared of, how dangerous the water is. But I also think they see, if they see you swimming, they see as a luxury thing. Remember, it's a drought area. It's a dry area, and water is a scarce thing. You don't have enough water. So you playing around, swimming for fun with water, while they're all actually, why they're always struggling looking for that water, isn't something they consider, something fun. It's a luxury thing. So that's why most people don't really, find themselves swimming in those areas.
It's interesting because, living in Western countries and growing up in Western countries, we take things like that for granted. Water, specifically water. I grew up in northern British Columbia, Canada, and water for us was everywhere. It wasn't an issue. And when you think about, where you're from and the fact that water is a luxury, it really puts things into perspective, I think.
Yeah, because you see, for us, water, we need water for drinking and for our livestock and for washing, But the first thing is drinking, and then for cattle, So swimming, like US, there's a tap water, so you drink it, and then you have a swimming pool, and then you have an ocean. In Tanzania, in my village, for example, maybe there's one place where everyone go and fetch water, the tap water, which sometimes during dry season there is no. And then we have some place where you make your own for your cows to drink. And then you also drink the same water. You can, even if you see that water, you wouldn't drink, but we do drink them because it's the rain water, but it's not well fetched, so it's not like clean. It's still dirty, but people do drink it. So it's different with from one place to another.
Well, for you now, I've talked to a lot of yachties in the past that have come off of the boats, and they always sort of have a desire to go back to sea. Do you have any of that inside of you that you want to go back?
I will definitely, hopefully, get back to yachting. It's always become your home. It become part of your life and something you'll always cherish. Like many other jobs, you will always have challenges, but let's all get it right. It's the best paying industry. It will pay you, and it's also the best place to make friends and become part of it. So it's a lovely industry to be, and I will hopefully be back. But for now, like I said, I would love to focus in my business and being back home at the moment.
So you would highly recommend yachting to anybody and everybody because your experiences overall, even though we have heard your worst stories, your experiences overall was a very positive experience and you really enjoyed yourself and feel you learned a lot and it enriched you, really.
Yeah, I think yachting is not for everyone, but at the same time, it is for everybody. It's not everyone can survive the industry, but anyone can really get into it as long as they are ready to. Don't go there. They tell you it's a luxury thing. You're not the owner. You're not like going on a trip. You're going to work. So don't fly from maybe Africa or wherever you're going expecting to go, and like you're going, oh, I'm going on travel. It's a traveling job. And, you're going on a holiday like the owners. No, beautiful places. You get to the end, it is a job. It is, you are actually working. So you don't go there and forget that you're going to work like any other jobs. So if you know what you're looking for, that you want to work, and then when you have some off time, you go enjoy yourself. Then you will make it. And then consistency and patience, then it should be the right place for you to be.
Well, Loth, I thank you very much for sharing all of your experiences and your stories with us. For those that have just tuned in for this one, there are 2 others in the series that we have already done. Please do check them out on our YouTube channel. Loth, you have a business now that you're running as a safari company. It is already scheduled. You've got a couple people coming in the next month because of Palma Yacht Crew, which is very exciting to hear. And really happy that this business is going ahead.
Yes, I'm really excited. Like I said, it's my target to get yachties to visit Tanzania during the season off or during the transition. And I'm very excited because there's a lot of people from different crew groups on Facebook, but mostly from Palma Yacht crew, where I have a couple of people hopefully coming next month, in February. So it's something very exciting, and I hope it's a start of a journey ahead where I get to share the culture and the safari here in Tanzania. And in the next couple of months or next year, if you see my post, maybe, who knows, I might come to in Europe and try to do some advertising there. So I'm looking forward for that.
Well, you'd be welcome anywhere in Europe for sure. You'd be welcome anywhere in the world. And you know what? I'm actually looking forward to the battle of the Tanzania and South African barbecue that I am sure is going to happen one of these days soon.
So the funny thing is, I have had a couple of friends actually after the interview, they messaged and said no, and I was like, no, what? They're like, no way, you're not better than us. And I was like, let's see how it goes. So definitely I'll have a couple of battles going on, and we'll see how that goes.
Oh yeah, I'm looking forward because I knew the minute you said it that there was going to be some backlash from that one because the South Africans are so proud of their barbecues, and you were talking about how good yours were. So we will definitely bring the barbecue battle back to Palma Yacht Crew vlogs and talk about it because it will be interesting and funny, I'm sure.
I'm looking forward for that.
All right, Loth, thank you again ever so much, and stay in touch. Send us photos whenever you like, and good luck with your business. And hopefully, we'll see you one day on the shores of Europe.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
You have been listening to Palma Yacht Crew vlogs right here on Yachting International Radio.